To be living elemental is to be living a more balanced life. I'm your host, Sara Ann, and the founder of Jade Scott Design. Through my interior design studio and Feng Shui practice, I awaken clients to the idea that their home is just as essential to their well-being as is to their mind and bodies. Essentially, nature's elements create balance and support, and through the lens of home, we can utilize their power when applied intentionally. Through this podcast, it is my intention to open you up to the idea that by living elemental through mind, body, and spirit will have a significant impact on your home and your life. I actually had something really different planned for today, but I had an experience just last night that I thought, and I'm going to talk about this on the podcast because it brought so much clarity to how I had been feeling over the last several weeks. I shared on my Instagram that I had not been working in my office because it's been overcluttered and I can't really seem to, quote unquote, get my shit together and get it in a state that I can actually sit in and work. So I've been at my dining room table, which is actually where I'm recording this because I still have been putting it off. I am a little overwhelmed with work at the moment, but regardless, that is a contributing factor to, guess I would say, my emotional state lately. I've been feeling overwhelmed. I've been feeling very emotional. It's interesting how when we are highly emotional, we almost get caught up in the, why do I feel this way? Why is this happening? Right? And we express those statements, but we don't always listen for the answer to come. And that's what I kind of want to talk about. I've mentioned in earlier episodes, even just cleaning your home, how you can bring in a practice or a ritual or a ceremony to that. I know a lot of us actually don't really care for cleaning, especially when it comes to kitchens and bathrooms. You hear people say that a lot, that I don't mind cleaning, but when it comes to the kitchen and the bathroom, it's just so draining. And that's kind of what I want to spotlight is the draining energy, because bathrooms and kitchens are what we call chi depleting. They can be a drain on your energy. And that is because there's a lot of water in those rooms. And water in Feng Shui resonates to the same vibration as money and our emotional state. And so tending to these areas of our home where the water is highly present is critical to sort of stabilizing not just our finances, but our emotional outbursts. And I really want to talk about water and bathrooms as it represents our emotional state. Bathrooms are for letting go, releasing, detoxifying. And in modern times, bathrooms can even now be set up so that they are spa-like. And that offers us, renewal and purification and self-soothing, right? It offers the opportunity to not only be a space where we can bathe and become clean, but also really pamper ourselves. And as I had mentioned, over the last few weeks, I've been highly emotional. And I know that right now there's a lot of universal changes happening, kind of astrologically speaking. We just had the spring equinox and there was a very powerful new moon energy. And I know for me, and I believe for a lot of others, regardless of your astrological signs, that this is a time of really huge shifts and forward momentum, really aligning with that spring energy. And for me, knowing that and how my home can be a supportive container for me was just a reminder to really trust that something bigger is happening for us, or that something bigger knows what is happening. It is all divine. It's more than we can imagine. And sometimes we just have to kind of let go and surrender to that. And really, that's what water represents. It is letting go, that releasing. What can I surrender to? And so, having been highly emotional the last several days, even I got caught up in the why do I feel like this? What is going on? Like I had said to my husband, like, I just feel like I need to cry. And the last few nights I have. Like, I did a breathwork session before bed, and at the end, I just kind of rolled onto my side, and the tears just started pouring. Like, that's the first time I had had a session where I've had such an emotional release like that. And I think I'm finally at a point in my life where letting those tears out, I know is so necessary. Where for the first part of my life, crying was, you know, looked at as a weakness. So I'm so grateful to be in that place where I can recognize that I need a cry, like my body is calling for me to release no matter what it is. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's fear, but it's okay. I love the saying, God gave you tears, use them. So many of us do not. I talk a lot about the mind body home connection, and just like water from the five elements perspective, relates to letting go and releasing. Think of your body and how it releases tears. They're literally water or sweat. Sweat is a detoxifying process, right? So, understanding that water element in connection to our emotional state, our physical state, it's all connected. And so, we can look at the home as that connection too. And again, I have been highly emotional. I've been struggling to communicate. In fact, what prompted this recording was just last night, I was trying to have a conversation and I couldn't communicate it in a way that was receptive. And I immediately got rather irritated by the way the conversation was going. And I just sort of walked away from it because thankfully, I have enough awareness now that when I can feel that bubbling up in me, it's best for me to walk away. And what I did was rather interesting. I had been also putting off cleaning my bathroom, like to the point where it was just gross. And just like we all tend to say, I don't have time for it. It takes so long. There's other things I need to do. How interesting that I was putting off tending to the cleaning of my bathroom while I was also experiencing this pent up emotional state that I just couldn't find a release for. And so instead of sulking, I decided I'm going to clean the bathroom. What's interesting is I wasn't even really aware in the moment. I was just like, you know what? There's nothing else to do. I obviously am bad at communicating right now. So I am no good to anybody. I'm just going to go clean the bathroom because it needs done. And why not? I don't know about you, but cleaning is like something I'll do when I'm sort of angry and irritated and I don't really want to associate with anyone. I'll go find something to clean. And what was interesting is, like I said, my office is a mess. So I debated, do I clean my office or do I clean my bathroom? So I decided on the bathroom. And what came up for me was so kind of awesome and cool. And that's why I wanted to share it with you. We've already talked about your bathroom or water in general really represents your emotional state. And I thought about that. I was standing in the tub, kind of wiping down the tile, and I thought, oh, okay. Okay. So I've had pent up emotions and I've been putting off the bathroom. And every time I would go into the bathroom prior to that, just, this needs clean. And I thought, interesting. That's what I'm sort of questioning with my emotions. What is wrong with me? Why do I feel so irritated? Why do I feel emotional or sad, like I need to cry? So I started connecting the dots there. And I just sort of surrendered as I cleaned. I just opened up space to connect with my home and thought, okay, I can clean in here and I can ask my home questions and I can just listen. I don't need to impose my sadness or my irritable behavior onto my family and expect them to soothe me, but I can with my home because my home, what I've come to know, speaks back to me, but in a very different way. And so that's exactly what I allowed it to do. I worked with the energy of my home and I gave it the opportunity to be there for me. It listened to me, and through it, I was able to hear my own inner guidance. And what I came to understand through this process of cleaning and releasing was that what I was experiencing emotionally was only temporary, and that I needed to resist the urge to sort of get lost or caught up in my emotions. Because sometimes when we feel that emotional state where like, what is wrong with me? Why and we kind of beat ourselves up about it. Why can't I get out of this funk? What is bothering me so bad? We tend to ask the question, but very rarely do we listen for the answer. And so the whole point of recording this is to kind of give you the opportunity to look for a different way and maybe start looking for that in your home and allowing it to be a supportive friend for you. So, some of the questions I was asking myself during my cleaning was, what am I storing? What emotion am I hanging on to? Do I just need to have a good cry? In fact, a few days ago, I considered watching The Notebook just to get one of those really powerful, ugly cries out because you know how good that feels an hour later, right? Is there something that I'm in denial about? How do I feel physically? Like, is everything functioning? Is there something bound up? Or is there something I need to let go of? And it was that question that I feel like I got my answer, because there is something that I've been thinking about, or I shouldn't say thinking about, that I've been hearing. And there is something I'm resistant to letting go of. And what's even more interesting, as I'm talking about this now, I was just having a conversation with a few of my girlfriends earlier in that day about something in my business that I'm really feeling called to let go of, but that there's something heavy weighing on me, tied up in that, that has me sort of simmering in my fears and anxieties about that particular thing that keeps coming up. It's almost like I'm trying to create something new, but I'm really holding on to something that I need to let go of in order to make room for what's new. Also, in answering that question and connecting that dot to, oh, I just had that conversation about I'm feeling really pulled to let something go, but I'm stuck in the fear and the anxiety of it. And then later that night, I tried to communicate it in a really roundabout way with my husband. And the response I got wasn't what I wanted. But then I'm projecting onto him what and how I think he should answer me. Instead, I just got quiet and I cleaned and I listened. And interestingly, I chose my bathroom where our emotions are wrapped up and need released. And it was just this beautiful unfolding. And the next dot that I connected was, wow, it's been pouring here the last few days. Like, if I haven't convinced you or even myself in this particular moment of that mind, body, home, spirit, nature connection, like, this is it. This is exactly what I want to shed light on. Is nature was releasing, I'm releasing. We're leaving the water phase of winter and entering this wood phase of spring. So it's like this entire release just needed to happen. And when I connected all the dots, like something really beautiful unfolded for me. I had so much clarity. I had a clean bathroom. And I just couldn't wait to share that with you. This is really such a game changer. Such a different way to look at your emotions, to look at cleaning your home, to really ask yourself some of those questions that I asked and see what comes up for you. Let me know how this resonates. I would love to talk to anyone who feels the call to reach out and discuss this because this was really a powerful exercise for me. Thank you so much for being here. Just a reminder that the best way to support me and this podcast is to rate, review, or share this podcast with your friends or family. Reviews in particular really help us grow so that we can reach as many people as possible. Podcasting for me is about helping you and others heal and balance and open up to a simpler way of living and being. Also, I'm looking for guests that would like to come on and talk about their home. Maybe this is changes you've made or ways in which you've implemented what you consider to be sacred space, as well as anyone who would like to have an open dialogue about creating that for yourself. You could consider it sort of a mini consultation live with me on the podcast. So if that sounds fun, please reach out to me directly via email at jsd@jadescottdesign.com. I'll put that down in the show notes as well. Until next time, much love and gratitude.